Okay, so this is a statement for International Women's Day given by the Women's Committee of the Revolutionary Students Union. Last Tuesday, March 8, 2011, will commemorate the first International Women's Day that many members of the Revolutionary Students Union observed. An entire day is dedicated to the recognition of women's rights and a call to action against injustices which occur every decade, every year, every hour, and every minute. Yet no calendars in the United States have even a fleck of ink printed to distinguish the March of 8th as this event. It is shameful that an entire nation can officially observe a day named after a rodent, Groundhog's Day, but women's rights are left to remain in shadow. The RSU recognizes that women have gained some independence in the past century with the suffragettes, but even with women supposedly standing as equals in the eyes of the law, we will never be equal until capitalism is overthrown. Capitalism separates people into classes. The majority, the working class, exert labor to produce material goods, while the few, or the ruling class, reap the fruits of the working class's labor and use it to become richer, while the poor become poorer. The experience of sexism is differentiated by class. Wealthy women have always been able to use their wealth to mitigate their oppression. So, for example, a struggle for free abortion on demand will not gain the same support that a woman who could always afford one anyway as it will from a working class woman. Conversely, it is working women who face the brunt of women's oppression. In 2009, the Department of Labor reported that women's earnings, white alone, non-Hispanic women's earnings, as compared to men, were 75%, which equals out to be 75 cents per dollar of what men made. Black or African American women only made 61.9%, so 62 cents per dollar. Asian women made 82 cents per dollar, and Hispanic or Latino women came out with a measly 53 cents per dollar. We have demands as the Women's Committee to these injustices. In the area of labor, we demand equal pay for equal work, increased pay for part-time work, job security for women, free childcare for women at work, paid maternity, paternity, and parental leave and guaranteed re-employment, and recognition and financial compensation for the rearing of children, because motherhood is often one of the hardest jobs out there. In education, we demand that women's rights to education be recognized and that education and child care be provided to every woman. No woman should ever be denied schooling because there is not enough funding, especially considering the United States constantly increasing budget for war. Fund education, not occupation. Socially, we demand an end to racist attitudes and legislation that support it, such as Arizona's SB 1070 and similar bills being proposed currently in Utah. We support all women and their families who demand access to their rights as human beings, i.e. healthcare, economic security, shelter, education, and a society which respects them. We also demand an end to oppressive bills that try to redefine survivors of rape as accusers and restrict women's access to their reproductive rights. We believe in the right of women to control their own fertility. Women must be free to decide whether or not to have children and how many to have. We thus believe in the right to free contraception, and we support free, safe abortion on demand, which leads us to our outcry for Planned Parenthood, which funding has been cut. So we demand that Planned Parenthood's funding be 100% reinstated because they are a vital part of our community, providing access of sexual education to children who are not taught it in our school system. We are opposed to all violence against women and defend women's right to physically defend themselves against abusive men.